Hey everyone, in today's video we're just going to see Daniel Naroditsky playing World Rapid Chess Championship 2024 in round 11, and his opponent is Praggnanandhaa. So we want to see what happens in the game. Daniel is just playing with white pieces. You know Daniel is the actually famous Brits in the bullet player in chess.com. He's very strong grandmaster, and let's see what happens in the game. He's rated 2600. So let's begin. Why not? We have knight to f3. So this is the red opening. Knight f3, knight f6, and here we see g3. So maybe we are going to see actually King's Indian attack in this game. Bishop to g2, and after the move c5 we just castles, and Daniel just castles, and we have g6. So it's the same structure for also black happens. This is a very quiet round game, so please actually be sure to actually to give the thumbs up and actually subscribe to the channel. That would be just very encouraging. So let's begin. No, I mean we have begun, but let's continue. Okay, so after now c3, we see bishop g7, d4, takes, and after knight c6, knight c3, knight to e4. Now this is just going to be threatened here. After bishop to f4, and here, as I just said, knight takes on c3, b takes on c3, and this is just a backward pawn. So after castles, we have knight to e5, knight to a5, and here we see rook b1 instead of rook b1. E4 was quite nice, but nothing really critical about rook to b1 by Daniel. So he's controlling this forest. After bishop to e6, we see knight to d3. A better try was just actually c4. Just open this ignore here. But after bishop takes on e5, bishop takes on e5, knight takes on c4, and here we see rook b7, rook takes b7, and knight takes on e5, e takes on e5, and the game could continue like this, but knight to d3, as I just told you, was played, you see, so knight to d3, and b6, we have bishop e5 offering these changes of bishops, so rook to c8, Praggnanandhaa could actually take after knight takes, then play rook to c8, and could actually, sorry, was Prag has nice position here. Red knight can actually jump this, and then you can put nice pressure, or maybe in future you can think of bishop exchanges on h3. Anyway, rook to c1, and the game could continue like this, but here we didn't see any bishop exchanges on e5, instead rook to c8, and here we saw that Daniel played bishop takes on g7, king takes on g7, and here after knight to f4, so you can't really, you can take it, but it's kind of risky a structure after knight takes on e6, f takes on e6, yeah. Idiom is still slightly better for black, but this kind of position maybe black didn't want. So after knight to f4, we see queen d6. Okay, so black defended this bishop on e6 with this queen, so it can take back with the queen on d6. Rook to c1, and here we see rook to c7. So black wants to just double and attack this pawn on c3. We see h4 push from Daniel, and here we see rook f to c8, and here Daniel played queen to e1 defending the pawn. Why didn't he play this? Because of this move. For example, if you play this, then knight c4 comes with tempo attacking the queen. So that's why Daniel played. And why didn't he play this move? Because of this bishop to f5 attacking the queen. So That's why Daniel actually played queen to e1, defending the pawn on the c3 square. So we see queen to e1, and here again anyway knight to c4 was played. And here after the move e3, we see knight to b2, e4 push, now takes by queen, and here we see knight to a4. So he's just threatening to take, and here Daniel just takes on e6 with the knight. After queen takes, and pawn takes on e6, we see bishop h3 taking the pawn. A better move was just actually rook ce1, and if actually black could wanted to defend like this, then bishop to h3. And you can't never take on this because bishop takes on the e6, and I just take on c8 next. So, but Daniel instead immediately played bishop h3, and here operated to take on c6, and he has the threat of knight to e2 check and to win a piece, to win the rook. So that's why rook to c to e1 was played, and here we see rook to e8. Why, you may ask, why Pragg didn't go for this? Because we just can't take rook. That's why rook to c1, and here we saw rook to d8. And bishop takes on e6, rook takes on e4, here we see rook to e3, and the threat actually is rook f2 e1. You can't play this because of this, and winning the rook because this would be just check. So if let me just show you. If, for example, white, if black plays like something like this, we can't play this because of this. If you take, then so that's why knight to e4. But let's actually and see knight to e4, yeah. And here rook f2 e1, and here knight to f6 was played from black. You could actually play the move knight to c5. Okay, and here is, he wants to maybe trade rooks. Pardon me. But actually knight to f6 was played. Here we see bishop to b3. After king to f8, then we see rook 1 to e2, a5, a4. a4 was kind of risky from Daniel. Just this bishop doesn't have any defender anymore. A better move was just king to g2, avoiding any checks. So a4 anyway, we see rook to b4 now. After king to g2, king to e8, rook f3. So rook f3 has the plan to take this knight, because if you play something like this, then we just take, because this is pinned. So you can't take because this is pinned. So that's why king to d8 was played here. After rook to d2 check from Daniel, we see king to e8 again, and here we just repeated moves, but here he played king to f8, and here after rook to d2 played king to e7, and here rook to e2, and here h6. So g5 can be played from Pragg. So we see rook to e5 preventing any pawn moves. So g5 is not playable because you just take. That's why rook to d7, and here after rook to c3, we see rook to e4 often in rook exchanges. Here we see rook b5, but a better idea was just go rook to e3. Or we can simply maybe just play the roots and play for this endgame, but this is completely actually difficult for white still to play, because knight is nice rotated of this part. So that's why actually Naroditsky, Daniel just refused to exchange the roots. So we see rook to b5, rook to d6, defending this pawn. After rook to c2, a better move for Daniel was actually rook to c8, going for rook to b8 and just to put pressure on this pawn here, and also have this nice attacks. If the knight goes away, for example like this, then actually rook to g8 is maybe seriously after rook to b8. Now we are just trying to take this pawn, but anyway, we see rook to e1 from Prague. He could have actually played knight d7 with nice advantage, rotating this pawn, and here knight to c5 with the threat on knight takes on b3 or knight takes on a4. But he missed his chance and played rook to e1. No problem, rook to b2, and now black decided to play knight to d7, and here we see another blunder from Daniel, bishop to c4, and black. Nice move, good move, plays the rook to e4, so attacking this bishop and the pawn on a4. We see bishop to b3, and here knight to c4, knight to c5 finally comes, and here we see king to f3, and here Daniel is just trying to take. For example, if you play something like this, then rotate c5, and this is just winning for Daniel. So actually should be very careful here. So he just gives check, so this idea wouldn't work anymore. And now after rook f6 changing to g2, and here we see rook to d6, and again repeating, and here we see rook e to d4, we see king to g2, and rook f6, rook to e2, king to f8, bishop to c2, rook to d6, rook to e3, rook d2, and bishop to e4. A better try was maybe actually to give this check, but anyway, bishop to e4. This is actually Prague is going to outplay Daniel. Bishop to f3, and now here knight to d3 with the threat of rook takes on f2. So if you try something like this, then rook takes on to bishop, and this is just this is just lost. So rook to e2 is not possible here. So that's why king to g1 tried Daniel. Rook to f takes on f2. So apparently doing this, but you are just attacking the bishop twice. Bishop to e2 was tried to cover this f1 square. We see knight to c5, and here Daniel used his dirty trick to take on b6. And instead of knight to c5, knight to c1 was possible from black to win the game very easily. But here he played knight to c5, and he missed the move rook takes b6, so dirty trick by Daniel. We see rook takes from b6 into, and because this was just decoy to just take the rook on f2. So knight takes on a4, and here we see rook to e5. Another blunder from Daniel. You could actually try rook to a3, and after here you could go bishop d1, maybe, I believe. But no, bishop d1 has knight b2, it seems, because you are just attacking the bishop here. But bishop to f3 and bishop to c6 is possible. Okay, but as I just said, knight takes on a4. Here Daniel played the move rook to e5 blunder. We see knight c3. Here you can't take. you can't really take because of this rook to b2. If you play something like this, then I just play rook takes on e2, and this position is winning for black because he's the pawn up and he can win it very easily. So after rook e5, knight to c6, knight to c3, Daniel tried bishop to d3, and here we have pawn push a4 from black, rook to c5 attacking this knight, knight e1 check, and after king to e2 attacking the knight, we see knight to b2. So we have this idea of rook to e6 and check. For example, if you go something like this, then it's still again lost, because if you try something like this, just take, 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 take. If you push, this is just completely winning. Or just push by supporting by the king. So we see bishop to b1 here, and after the move a3, we see rook to a5, knight to c4, rook a8 check, king g7. So Daniel just gave a check, was successful of giving check. But this is not enough. Bishop d3, and here we see rook to b2. Here don't play something like this because this is just winning. So king to f3, and here knight to e5. So he managed to exchange the knight for the bishop and played rook to b3 and took on g3 the pawn. And in this endgame, just it was another tactic. Takes, if you take his pawn, just promotes. And okay, at this moment here, just Nyanya decided to resign, and really it was nothing for him to do against Praggnanandhaa. So it was very nice finish, super win by Black. Congratulations to him. Hope you that enjoyed this video. Please do give the actually thumbs up and actually sub to the channel. That would be just subscribe to the channel. That would be just very encouraging. So see you next time. Bye for now.